If you are on a GLP medication, you probably need to hear this. Tonight we're talking about a real thing that doesn't get discussed very often. It's transfer addiction. Have you ever wondered why some people suddenly pick up shopping or alcohol or gambling right after they lose weight? That is what we're digging into today. That could be transfer addiction. Transfer addiction is real, very real, and it is very damaging. Today we're going to look at transfer addiction after GLPs. What is it? Why does it happen? How to recognize it? And what to do about it. So what is transfer ad? I'm going to start calling it ad because if we use that word too much, the bots are going to get us. He does it all the time. Sometimes he pounces on it really gaily. So when transfer ad happens when someone stops one compulsive behavior and replaces it with another. So GLP meds like semaglutide, tirzepatide, liraglutide, they suppress appetite control by blunting reward pathways. And for some, food was their main coping mechanism. And now, poof, with a shot, it's gone. So what fills that void? For some people, it's shopping for rings. For some people, it's gambling. For some people, it's alcohol. Either way, it's hyper-focus on something. Because the brain just has not healed. All it's done is rerouted. Why does this happen? GLPs don't just touch hunger. They affect your dopamine pathways, our brain's reward system, the system that fuels addiction, ads, cravings, and compulsive behaviors. When food stops lighting up the brain like it used to, the brain still wants that light up. This is especially common in people who've used food to soothe trauma, anxiety, depression, and loneliness. Alexa, volume 2. And when that gets taken away without replacing it with something healing, you might start reaching for other ways to get that dopamine hit. Does that sound familiar to anybody? So what transfer ad looks like, let's break it down. common behaviors in transfer ad. Compulsive shopping on Amazon. Late night online carts. Increased alcohol use. Gambling or crypto trading. When their partner is sleeping, they pick up their phone in bed. They do things behind their partner's back. They over exercise or obsess with something like body image. They hyper clean. Hi, Nana. Tiny, roar. Tiny, roar. Tiny, roar. They have rigid routines for some things. They get on social media a lot. They obsess with wellness or health hacks. Sometimes it feels healthy, like working out or meal planning. But if it's compulsive or isolating or destructive, that's just not good behavior. So who's most at risk? Even people who have never identified as having food addictions, but used food to self-soothe, may experience this. You've been in a slump lately. Oh no. Do you have time? We'll talk about that once we get this. We'll definitely talk about that. We've got to get that. Can you make sure that you're in the sun at least 15 minutes a day? Can you do intentional breathing several times an hour? And make sure you're drinking orange juice to get your vitamin C. Because sometimes if you're low on vitamin D or low on vitamin C, those can put you into a slump, almost depression-like. So make sure you're in the sun and make sure you're drinking orange juice. People with any addictions, like drugs, alcohol, food codependency, are at higher risk. Warning signs of transfer ad. If you feel anxious, if you don't get to do a behavior, if it's interfering with your relationship or work, if you feel shame after doing it, like you shouldn't have done it, if you hide it. Does this hit home with anyone here? So what to do about it? The first step is always awareness. Recognizing that you have the transfer A. Therapy helps, especially with someone trained in transfer A. Support groups, online GLP focused groups. Replace the behavior with one that genuinely nourishes. Do journaling, do art, do nature or meditation. talk to your doctor and be honest. You may need support with medication referrals. Slow down if you're stacking too many changes. Calories, deficit, workouts, meds, life. It all just comes crumbling down around you like a pressure cooker. Try keeping a mood journal. What triggers your compulsion? When does it happen? What are you feeling when it happens? Here are some questions for your provider. Can we talk about my GLP and how it might be affecting my mental health? What support do you recommend for managing compulsive behaviors? Can we screen for addiction risk? Would adjusting my dose or adding a different therapy be appropriate? So let's empower ourselves. We are warriors after all. I say that a lot in here. We are warriors. We get our calories in, we get our protein in, we get our sleep in, we get our water in, and we intentionally breathe. We are warriors coming at you to crush this journey. GLP meds can absolutely change your life. But you have to talk about the full picture. Thank you for the heart me. Not just the LBs lost. Ignoring a transfer ad is like putting a beautiful roof on a house of straw. Eventually it will come down. Hi, Sarah. You deserve wholeness in your journey, not just weight loss, not just those numbers on the scale. You need to be whole, and that's what we're striving for. Is that? Any questions?